Hey guys, Matthew Frankovich here, colloquially known as Sloth, and I'm here to bring you an audition for the commentation competition for Nationals and Worlds put on by the Pokémon Company International. That was a lot of words. So before we get into the game, which is a commentary of the trading card game between two very good players, members of the MSU Pokemon Club, I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself, where I'm coming from, what I've done, just so I'm not a stranger bringing you yet another game. So I'm vice president of the MSU Pokemon Trading Card Game Club. Got the shirt on right here. Let's see, I've been playing Pokemon for about 3.5 years. The trading card game, anyway. I've been playing the video game, since I was about old enough to walk. As a club, our accomplishments include state champions, regional champions, provincial champions, multiple top cuts at nationals, things like that. And I've been there for most, if not all, of those events. The success has eluded me a little bit so far, at least that level of success. But I've been, regularly top cutting and doing well in my own right. And I saw this competition and I thought, as much fun as it would be to play at nationals, and probably not worlds, maybe I'd grind in, I'd try. I thought my talents could be much better spent commentating. I've commentated games such as StarCraft and League of Legends before, and Pokemon isn't such a far cry as that. So without further ado, you know who I am, you know why I'm doing this, let's get right into the game.
Okay, so now that you know about me, let's look at the two players who are going to be in this game. On the left side, with the Play Pokemon sleeves and the top 8 Yeti Gaming playmat, is Chris DeRocher, former state champion, former top 8 at Michigan States, multiple top cuts at regionals. He's a pretty accomplished player. He's been playing for about 3 years now. I actually got into the game with him when we were roommates in college. On the right side, in the ripped jeans and the Xerneas Eveltal playmat, is Alex Hill. He just recently won provincials in Ontario. Other than that, he doesn't really have a lot of accomplishments to his name, but he's been playing for almost 9 years now. So about as long as Pokemon's been competitive, Alex Hill has been in the game. I do have I am privy to the knowledge of what decks these players are playing. On the left side, Chris is going to be playing a very basic Plasma list. And I'll explain what that means a little bit later in the video. And on the right side, Alex Hill is going to be playing Virizion Genesect with an added Drifblim tech. I think he runs a 2-2 Drifblim line. So we see Chris mulligan twice, but this time he finally gets a basic. He gets 2 basics. I think they were both Deoxys. He sets out his prize. Alex Hill, Alex Hill flips over a Virizion, and I believe Alex is going first. I think it was heads on that initial flip. Alex is a guy who likes to call heads. Oh, no, looks like it'll be Chris. Ignore everything I just said. Alright, he starts off his first turn with a Skyla, probably looking for an Ultra Ball, something to get another Pokemon on his bench, because 2 Deoxys isn't the best start with Plasma. If you don't know what Plasma does, just a brief explanation. Deoxys has an ability that powers up all your Plasma Pokemon's attacks by 10 damage for each Deoxys on your bench. Chris does Ultra Ball away a Plasma Energy and a Palkia EX. Palkia EX is a Dragon type. It's mostly used to damage other Dragon types that are weak to Dragon type. So he's not really going to be needing it in Virizion Genesect, which is mostly Grass type Pokemon and also a Drifblim. Back to what Plasma does. Plasma uses Thunderous's attack, Ride and Knuckle, to do some damage and put energy from your discard onto your benched Pokemon. It powers up those attacks with Deoxys, and the main goal is to attack with Lugia, which does 120 damage, but is powered up by Deoxys and other trainers like Muscle Band. And when Lugia knocks out a Pokemon, because of its ability Overflow, you take 1 extra prize. That's the entire goal of the game. If you knock out 2 EXs, that's 3 prizes per EX instead of the normal 2. 2 EXs, and that's game. That's what Plasma goes for. On the other hand, we have Alex Hill's Virizion Genesect list. Virizion Genesect is a deck all about using Emerald Slash with Virizion, which does 50 damage and lets you put 2 grass energy onto 1 bench Pokemon. Use Emerald Slash with Virizion to power up a Genesect. Then with Genesect, you either use Megalo Cannon, which is 2 grass, 1 colorless for 100 damage and 20 snipe to the bench, or use his TM, which is an ace spec card in the format, called G Booster, which does 200 damage, but you have to discard 2 of those energies. Same cost, double grass, 1 colorless. 200 damage knocks out any Pokemon in the format in 1 hit. So the general goal is to power up that Genesect, and then knock out Pokemon over and over again. Alex Hill is going to evolve to Drifblim. If you don't know what Drifblim does, I'll explain it really quick. It's got an ability. I don't remember what it's called. Uh-oh. Um, that lets its attacks cost one less colorless energy for each plasma Pokemon on your opponent's side of the field. Going against Chris's deck, which is entirely plasma Pokemon, Plasma Thundurus, Plasma Deoxys, Plasma Lugia, his attacks will go from a 3 colorless cost to completely free. And that attack is called Derail. It does 70 damage. Yeah, it does 70 damage. That's about it. With a Muscle Band, a trainer that adds 20 damage, that does 90 damage. It two-shots any EX in the format. And one-shots Deoxys, which are weak to Psychic. And then it can attack for free. It can retreat for free. It's just a really good Pokemon against Plasma. Not so good against Pokemon where you'd have to use 3 energy to do 90 damage. But since he's playing Plasma, Alex Hill doesn't really have to worry about that. Okay, so talking about the game, Chris got a catcher flip. He's probably going to go for that Genesect, but he's thinking about it. Alex Hill looks pretty set up. He's got 2 energy on the Virizion, so he can Emerald Slash at will. He's got 2 energy on the Genesect, so he has 1 more energy before he can Megalo Cannon or G-Booster. Chris actually catchers the Drifblim, which is interesting to me because it has free retreat. And he chooses to ride and knuckle it. He doesn't have any energy in his discard, so he can't power up anything on his bench. So that ride and knuckle is purely for damage, and it's a little weird to me that he would just damage the Drifblim, which can retreat for free anyway. Alex Hill's turn is coming up. He's thinking about what he's going to do. He's looking through his hand. He's got a Skyla in his hand. He's got an Enhanced Hammer in his hand. All of those things would be useful against Chris's deck right now. He attaches a Plasma Energy to Genesect, which lets it use its ability not G-Booster, Red Signal. It acts like a Pokemon catcher without the flip. You can move any of your opponent's bench Pokemon into the active spot and switch the active Pokemon to the bench. He attaches a Muscle Band to his Drifblim. Colress is for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. Colress lets you shuffle your hand into your deck and draw a card for each Pokemon on both players' benches. With that Muscle Band, Drifblim will be doing 90 damage with 1 attack. Alex Hill G-Boostered up that, not G-Boostered, Red Signaled up that Lugia, which doesn't have enough energy retreat. It's got a 2 energy retreat cost and only has 1 plasma energy on it, so Chris would have to waste his attachment for the turn to retreat the Lugia if he wanted to next turn, or he'd have to use a switch or some other similar card. As it is, Alex is going to do 90 damage. That's a knockout next turn, and Chris is kind of in dire straits. He doesn't have any energy on his bench that got Enhanced Hammered away. Alex Hill has 1 fully loaded Genesect, 1 almost fully loaded Genesect that's 1 energy away from being able to G-Booster, and a Drifblim that Chris doesn't really have an answer for right now. Chris does Skyla. Nice full art Skyla, by the way. Mad props for that. He Skylas for a Juniper, shuffles his deck. It looks like he's not going to be able to do much this turn. And he attaches, I believe, a Prism, but I didn't get a good look at it. He kind of covered it up with his hand there. To his Thundurus, getting ready to, ride and knuckle if he has time later in this game. Alex Hill benches a Sky Arrow Bridge, makes all your basic Pokemon retreat cost 1 less. That lets Genesect and Virizion retreat for free, and actually Drifloon on the bench as well, which means that all of Alex Hill's Pokemon can now retreat for free. Chris's Lugia now costs 1 special energy retreat, or 1 any energy, I guess. 1 colorless energy is what I meant to say. Deoxys also requires 1 more colorless energy, down from 2 thanks to Sky Arrow Bridge. Kyurem will now take 2 colorless energy, and Thundurus can retreat for free. So overall, it's a lot better for Alex Hill than it is for Chris, which is probably why he played the card. Alex Hill's shuffling his hand around. He played an N, let both players shuffle their hands back into the decks and draw 6 cards. Kind of a slow game. No prizes have been taken, and we're already 8 minutes in. But here Alex uses Derail, finally knock out that Lugia, finally take 2 prizes. He's looking pretty set. Chris is going to have a lot of work ahead of him if he wants to come back in this game, because Alex Hill has 2 fully loaded Genesect. He's ready to G-Booster as soon as he gets that option. And Chris is putting his energy on his Thundurus. Maybe he means the Thundurus Noise, which does 90 damage and lets you discard an energy off your opponent's Pokemon. But that's not really the point of the deck. As I said before, the point of the deck is generally to attack with Lugia and take 3 prizes a turn. And Chris hasn't been able to do that. He doesn't even have any energy on his Lugia anymore. And with Alex Hill's side of the board being as scary as it is, I feel like attaching to Thundurus might be a little bit of a mistake. Alex Hill does attach a Plasma Energy to red signal up one of his Deoxys. He Ultra Balls away a Sky Arrow and a Virizion. He doesn't really need those anymore. He's got all his energy out from Emerald Slashing. And he's already got a Sky Arrow in play. He doesn't think Chris runs any counter stadiums. He grabs a Drifblim, which can again derail for free, 70 damage. If he attaches a Muscle Band, that'll one-shot Deoxys, as I mentioned before. And there's that Muscle Band. Deoxys is weak to Psychic. 90 damage times 2 is 180, which is 10 more than Deoxys has. He does derail for the knockout. Easy, clean, 2 prizes without much investment on Alex Hill's part. I have to say that Alex Hill probably has the game under wraps right now. He's got 2 fully loaded Genesect on the bench. If he gets his G Booster, unless it's prized, of course, he can one-shot any Pokemon on Chris's bench. And unless he has that Kyurem active, which isn't an EX and only will allow Alex Hill to take 1 prize, he can knock out any Pokemon and take his remaining 2 prizes. Chris attaches again to Thundurus. He's about to use Thunderous Noise. He attaches a Muscle Band to Kyurem, and another Muscle Band to Thundurus. He's rearranging his cards a little bit. And he Thunderous Noises for the knockout. It does 90 damage plus 20, 110. That'll knock out a Drifblim, which only has 100 HP. But I think Alex Hill has the game here. Does he have... He Enhance Hammers. Probably going for an energy on that Thundurus. But he's going to check the discard just to see what's in the deck right now anyway. If Alex Hill draws a G-Booster, I think he has a supporter in his hand. I think I saw a Juniper. Then he just has game. He can retreat his Virizion for free and do 200 damage with a G-Booster. And he does Juniper. Let's see what he draws. First 3 cards, not a G-Booster. Second 3, nope. And the 7th card is, in fact, a G-Booster. He retreats his Virizion, does 200 damage, knocks out 2 prizes. Good game. Thanks for playing with me. I've been Matt Frankovich. Have a good night.